Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing another episode of World in Flames Collector's Edition, Days of Decision 3, Combined Game Playthrough. This is game number 3. We're going to be doing the November-December 1942 turn. Things have kind of turned around a little bit for the Allies and the Communists, I think. I think the Fascists may have kind of lost a little bit of the initiative they had early in this game. That's wholly due to the weather and how bad it's been. I don't know what this turn's going to bring. This turn can be either really good weather or really bad weather. So we'll see. So let's jump right in. Let's take a look at starting money. Okay, starting money for this turn. We have Germany at -4, Japan at 1. Italy at 0, the Soviets are at -3, the Chinese are at -1, Free France is at -10, and WiFCE is now at 0. I have put in bids for the various major powers. There are only 2, so we're going to go take a look at that right now. We have 2 major powers bidding. We also have 1 major power that didn't get a political option last turn. That would be the Free French. They bid for a political option, but did not get to play an option, so they'll get bonus bid points. So the 2 bidding powers are the Free French and Japan. The Free French bid 1. They're going to get a +2 for their bonus bid points and a +2 for their current position for 5. And Japan bid 1. They're going to get a +3 for their current position for a total of 4. So we're going to have Free France at 1, Japan at 2. And now for the non-bidding major powers, we have Germany at 4. We have the U.S. at 3. It's going to put the U.S. in at 4th. The Commonwealth will be at 5th at 2. The Soviets and the Italians are tied at 1. But if we take a look at the political effectiveness, we see the Soviets are 6. The Italians are a 3, so they're going to break that tie. And the Chinese are last. Okay, now as far as political options go, we're going to do this real quick. Okay, so the Free French, they owe a declaration of war from last turn. It's already been paid for. All the effects have been put out. So all they have to do is play the option, which they're going to do. So that will be they do not get to activate a minor. So that's basically going to be the end of the Free French turn. Then we'll go to the Japanese. Well, the Japanese also have an option they have to pay for. Or play, and that is minor joins in. They used that on Chile last turn, so they're going to play that. All the effects have already been put out. It's already been paid for, so all the Japanese have to do is activate a minor. So I gotta kind of look and see what Japan might want to activate, and I think I know what they're going to do. Japan is going to activate Argentina. There's a -1 Japanese and a -1 US there. So, and the Argentine marker is just inside the fascist ideology. So it's going to, they're all -1, so basically it's not going to move the marker. So the -1 American marker would pull the marker, would push the marker this way. It was 2 per hex, so that's not going to do anything. The -1 Japanese marker would push the marker either into this hex or this hex. Well, it's 2 for the hex, 1 for the boundary. That's 3. So neither of those are going to do anything. So that's going to basically wrap up the political phase really quick. So we're going to move on to rolling for initiative and roll for the weather. I'm going to go dig out the weather chart. I'm going to be back in a second, and we'll do those 2 things. Okay, the initiative roll is blue, Democrat, white, fascist, and red are the communists. The fascists can also ask for reroll. Well, that's definitely a loss for the fascists, as you can see. 601 is definitely a loss. Let's see. Do they want to ask for a reroll? I got to think about this. Back in a second. Okay, the fascists are not going to ask for a reroll. There is a 70% chance of bad weather in both the Arctic and North Temperate zones. So they would rather preserve their +2 at this point. So the roll will stand. The communists want to go first. The Democrats will end up going second. And the fascists will end up going third. All right, let's go do a weather roll. See what we get there. See how much good weather or bad weather this turn is going to have. Okay, weather roll. So the weather chart we'll be using is this one right here. November, December. Let's roll a die, see what we get. Oh, okay. We ended up getting a 3. Let's see. 3 is rain in the Arctic, fair everywhere else. The impulse marker will move up 2, so this is likely to be a short turn. And put down rain in the Arctic. There's no modifier to the weather roll for next turn. And the communists, oh, let's go take a look at reinforcements. Here we have some reinforcements. We have a Japanese synthetic oil plant coming online, a bunch of CAGs, a marine unit, some coastal forts, a pretty good naval bomber, some territorials. The Italians have a couple pilots coming in. The Americans have 5 offensive points, more aircraft, a lot of ships, as well as a escort carrier. And the Russians have a literal trove of infantry coming in. The Commonwealth also has a good-sized pile of stuff coming in. And they have some good CAGs. Unfortunately, they don't fit on anything right now. The Commonwealth needs to build some carriers that those can actually fit on. The Germans have some allied units coming in. A pretty good Panzer Corps, 10-6. Another ACAC unit. Pretty good fighter, a Focke-Wulf. It's an 8 strength, that's pretty good. As well as a synthetic oil plant and a snorkel U-boat. The U-boats didn't fare so well last turn. So I'm going to get these deployed on the board into the various task forces that they can be deployed into. Oh, that Commonwealth unit, that's a bomber with a ASW factor. So that's pretty good. That's a Halifax, actually. That's a strategic bombing strength of 7. That's up there. Alright, okay, I'll be back shortly with the first set of impulses, and the Soviets are up first, so we'll come back with them. Okay, I finished up the communist impulse, and the line doesn't look as bad as it seems. There is a hole right here, but it's actually plugged by this unit back here. That actually plugs that hole. Sorta. I mean, he can actually get to this hex, but not really because of zones of control. So it is good weather down here, but it's a chance we're going to have to take. Rain up here, though. We managed to actually build a fairly decent line. We got a pocket we're going to try to free at some point if we get some blizzards. And we have strengthened the northern section of the line, so it's almost attackable at this point. We do have some issues, definitely, but I think it doesn't look as bad as it seems. So I have finished all the Communist Chinese. They did reinforce their line with this unit right here. He moved up into the front line in mountains, of course, so that means you flip over. So I will move on to the democracies, and they have a decision they got to make. The Americans and the British are thinking about trying to do a port strike, but I got to kind of look at it and see if it's actually going to be worth it or not. But I will be back shortly with a summary and any battles that may occur for the democracies. Okay, so the democracies have decided, or the Americans and the Commonwealth have decided they're going to do a port strike right here. I've already flown some escorting bomber fighters and some bombers in there. a lot of this is all in this hex. Okay, some of this is in this hex. I think the Italians are over in this hex. But now I got to figure out the surprise points. We got to roll some dice for that. So let me roll those dice. Okay, we got a 7 and an 8. So I'm going to figure out the 7 for the fascists, 8 for the democracies. I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprise points, but I'll figure that out. I got to line up the bombers and fighters because we're definitely going to have an air battle, and then there's going to be some anti-aircraft after. So I'm going to figure all this out, and then we're going to get right to it and see what happens. Okay, so we end up with 2 surprise points for the Germans. The Germans have flown both intercepting fighters and patrolling fighters. The Commonwealth and Americans have a total of 5 fighters in place here, or 4 fighters against basically 2. There are no German bombers, but the bomber stream for the democracies is right here. And I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're going to give it a go and see if we can actually cripple the German fleet in port, sort of like Pearl Harbor. But we're going to try anyways and see what happens. All right. So the Germans are up first. They got 7.6 against 6.3. So that's going to be 7.6, 6.3. That's 1.3. So that's going to be +1, -1. +1 for the Germans, -1 for the democracies. We're going to roll it up here in the North Sea. And the Germans rolled a 16. 16 on the +1 is DX. And the pilot's killed. DX. Defender destroys own front fighter or front bomber. We're going to destroy our front fighter. So he's dead. And the democracies will roll back. They rolled a 13 on the -1. 13 is a blank. So now we go to the next round. And let's see, that's going to change the odds a little bit. Now we're at 5.8 against 7.6. That's 2.1. It's going to be +2, -2. So the Germans roll first. Maybe I can get them right here. All right, they rolled a pair of 7s. So it's a 14 on the +2. 14 is attacker abort. Attacker aborts defender's front fighter or front bomber. We're going to abort the front bomber. So he gets to fly away. Ugh. I almost knocked that over. All right. Hit it with my hand. All right, okay, good. All right, so he gets to go home. It's not working out the way I wanted. Now on the -2, the democracies will roll back with a 15. On the -2, 15. 15, all right. Defender abort. Defender aborts own front fighter, front bomber. We have to abort our front fighter. Goes away. Put them here. All right, round 3. We are at 5.8 against 6. It's going to be even up. Germans up first. They roll a 11. I can tell you what that is. Nothing. Defender clears through. Defender clears through. Front bomber. And we're going to clear through this guy. And the democracies will roll back. They're rolling 18. That might be the end of that. 18 on the on the even. 18 is DX. So that German fighter is dead. And the pilot is killed. All right. So all the rest of the bombers are going to get through. I have to figure out the anti-aircraft. And the Germans do have 2 surprise points, so they can affect it a little bit. So when I come back, I'll figure out the anti-aircraft. Whoops, this bomber is supposed to be in there too. So our bombers, all our bombers are going to get through, and we're going to do a port strike. Back in a second. Okay, the flak is going to be the lowest 3 dice out of 5. So we're going to roll 4 dice here and then roll another one, or take the lowest 3 dice. That's going to be the flak. Lowest 3 die, we got a 2, 8, 9, 10. 2, 8, 9, 10. 2, 8, 9. Ooh, that's a really bad roll. That's a really bad roll. So that's 17. It's 19 flak factors. That's a total of 8 planes. That's actually not going to be very good, I don't think. All right, flak. Let's see. A losses. Destroy 2 CVPs or 1 bomber per 10. So it's up to the Commonwealth to choose which ones. We're going to take this one. That's going to use up 10 points. Now I have 9 left. We'll destroy this one. And then there's 4 left. It's going to abort 4 air-to-sea factors. So that's going to leave the Commonwealth with 2, 5, 6, 9, 14 air-to-sea factors remaining, which 4 are aborted, so that's going to be 10. And we'll look on the chart for air-to-sea. Make sure these guys, I think they get their pilots back. Let's see. Okay, so look on the chart. 10 air-to-sea factors. The Germans actually have 2 surprise points. They're going to move it down to the 6 and 7 column. Against 31 ships, it'll be 2 sunk. So the Commonwealth will get to try and sink 2 ships. Obviously, they're going to pick a carrier. They'll go for the Kleist. That's a 7. So the Germans have to save that. Roll better than a 7 or she's sunk. Nope, she goes down. There's 1 carrier bites the big one. I do believe the CAG is destroyed as well. And then Germany can pick one. They'll pick the Witter, this guy. He's sunk automatically. So that's the end of the port attack. Didn't quite work out the way that the democracies wanted it to work out, but at least they did get 1 German carrier sunk. And now I'm going to land all those planes, and when I come back, we will start the fascist impulse. Oh, no, sorry. There's a couple of things to do over in the Pacific. We'll grab some dice. We'll head over here. We got a possible convoy raid right here. We have 2 American subs. We'll turn one over to try to raid them. Roll some dice. They did find them. And it's going to be 4 surprise points. So we got a total of 5 sub factors against 2 convoys. 5 sub factors, 2 convoys. And we can move it up to, actually it's 1 ship. So it's going to be 1 damage. So it's an automatic. It's going to be a damage automatically. So he is damaged. And we have another one over here in the, whatever the sea zone is, Polynesia sea zone right here. I'll roll some dice. And they do find them there too. A 1 and a 10. That is a big ouch. So I'm just going to take those 2 convoy points off because this battleship's here. So they're just going to be blown out of the water. And I think the democracies are okay with that. They are okay. So I'll come back. I got to think about what the fascists want to do. We got rain in the Arctic. A lot of the German army in Russia is in the Arctic. They've kind of plugged up all the gaps. I don't know. I gotta think about it. We might want to actually do something in the Bay of Belfast. Or Bay of Biscay. So I gotta take a look at it, think about it, and I'll be back in a second. Okay. Germany decided to do a naval. They're gonna try and inflict some casualties on the Commonwealth and American fleets, maybe. And the Italians decided to do an air and throw all their naval bombers out there too. Now, because that the Commonwealth and Americans did a port strike, all their planes on their carriers are flipped over right now, so there won't be any fighter cover. There's really no German fighters either, but the Germans still have 3 carrier planes plus all the naval bombers, depending on what the dice roll is going to look like. So let me grab the dice. We're going to try and do some search rolls, see what happens. 7 and a 3. So this column here got found. So the German fleet did get found by the... Yeah, they got found. So none of this is gonna be included. Only this. And I'll have to figure it out. The Allies are going to have some surprise points, obviously. They might pick a surface. So we might end up with a surface action. So let me figure that out, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, we got quite the brouhaha going on here. So the Allies, the Americans and the Commonwealth, have exactly 4 surprise points. And they've decided to do a surface engagement. So the combined fleet of the Americans and the British have 170 surface points and 30 plus ships. The Germans have 100 surface points and 30 plus ships. So it comes out to look like something like this. So the Germans are going to suffer 6 sunk, 3 damaged, 3 aborted. And the Americans and Commonwealth are going to suffer 5 sunk and 1 damaged. So we're going to do the Germans first. So we got 6 sunks. We're going to take the Hindenburg. The Commonwealth is going to pick the Hindenburg. So Germany's got to roll better than a 1 to save it. And they do, so it's damaged. So I'm going to put the damaged ships over here. Now the Germans get to pick one. They're going to pick, this Swedish ship right here. Built in 1904. It's a good ship. That's an 8. And it's sunk, so we're going to put that up here. Now the Commonwealth can pick another one. They're going to pick the Hindenburg again, which is already damaged. So 2 damages is going to be a sunk. It doesn't matter, it's going to be sunk. So I'm going to put that there, so the Hindenburg goes down. That is 1, 2, 3 ships so far. Now the Germans can pick the 4th ship. They're going to pick this U-boat, which is included in the combat. That's an auto sunk because it's a 10. There are 2 left. The Commonwealth is going to pick... I want to get rid of some of these ships. Let's see if we can sink the Admiral Hipper. That's a 4-point cruiser. That's a really good cruiser. So the Germans got to roll better than a 6 to save it. They do not. It gets sunk. And the last ship that the Germans will pick, they are going to pick the Cormoran, which is a 10. It's going to be automatically sunk. So the Germans have lost the Admiral Hipper and the Hindenburg for big ships. Now we got 3 damage. The Commonwealth will pick first. They're going to try to pick, they're going to pick this guy. Actually, let's pick the Bismarck. We're going to pick the Bismarck. We got to roll better than a 2 to avoid a damage. I do. The Germans do. So that ship is going to be aborted. Then Germany will pick one to be damaged. I think the Emden. I roll a 10 for it to not be damaged. It's not. It's going to be damaged. And the last ship that the Commonwealth was picked, we're going to pick the Scharnhorst to be damaged. That's a 3. It's not. It's aborted. Okay. Now we have 3 aborted. And the Germans are gonna pick this Swedish cruiser. That's a 9 for an abort. It is aborted. And now the last aborted picked will be this ship right here, Admiral Scheer. That's a 7. And it doesn't save. It's aborted. So there is 4 aborted ships total here. Alright, they can stay upside down. They just stay over here for now. Not part of the fleet anymore. The damaged ship will still be in the fleet. I'm going to leave it right here for now. Now we're going to go to the Commonwealth and the Americans. The Germans will pick first for a kill. Let's see. Let's pick the Hood. The Hood's a good one to kill. And get the green die. So the Commonwealth has to roll better than a 3. They don't. It blows up. The Hood blows up. It's gone. Exploded. Roll the 1. Too bad. Oh, can't make this up. The next one, the Americans will pick the Marblehead. That's a 8. Roll a die on that for sinking. It's sunk. And then Germany gets to pick another one. Let's pick... Any more battleships in here? Commonwealth is really low on BBs, surprisingly. Let's pick... We'll pick the Valiant. For a sunk, this will be the 3rd ship. The Valiant is a 3. And he is damaged. So that's the 3rd one. The 4th one, you're going to pick the Milwaukee. That's an 8. And that's damaged. That's damaged. He actually saved. He rolled a 9. And the last sunk, we'll pick the Valiant again, which is damaged. It's going to get at least another damage, and it's sunk. And now we have 1 abort. And we're going to pick... Let's abort out. We'll try to get aborted. Let's see. We got any of these really nice American fast... Yeah, right here. The New Mexico. I'm going to try to abort the New Mexico. That's a 3. And he is aborted. So he will go home. I'm just going to put him up here for now. And that is the end of that round. Now, I have to think. Does either side want to abort? Boy, the Germans really got hosed on that one. I think they would at least like to stick around and see if they can get their air into action here. So we're going to roll search dice again and see what happens. Round 2. And that's, yeah. I gotta figure that out. Be back in a second. All right, we're at it again. And this time, the Allies had enough to get a surface action. And we're going to have 3 sunk, 2 damaged, and 2 aborted on the Allies. And on the Germans, we're going to have 4 sunk, 3 damaged, and 3 aborted, excuse me. Alright, so we'll do the Allies first. They have 4 sunks. They're going to pick the Gross Deutschland, because we know that one can get sunk with 2 damages. I'm going to roll a 1 to avoid getting, roll better than a 1 to avoid getting sunk. It does, it's damaged. Oops, what did I do? Okay, picked up the wrong cardboard. Alright, right there. Alright, the Germans will pick one. They're going to pick another Swedish ship, I think. This guy. He is going to be a 7. Keep from getting sunk. And nope, he goes down. And then the Commonwealth will pick that ship again. It's going to be sunk. It is sunk. And then the last one, we will pick this guy. He's already damaged. You can't avoid it. He's going to be sunk. Now for the 3 damages, the Commonwealth will pick the Graf Spee for a damage. That's a 7. It's damaged. The Germans will pick, boy, this didn't work out too good for the Germans. I'm going to pick this guy, the Leipzig. That's an 8 for a damage. And he's saved. He's aborted. Imagine that. And the last damage, the Commonwealth will pick the Graf Spee again. He has to save at better than an 8 now. He doesn't. He is 2 damages as a sunk. Now we have 3 aborts. We're going to pick the Frederick de Grob for an abort. Oops, sorry about that. He's a 1, so I got to roll better than a 1 to avoid aborting. He is half aborted. The Germans will pick this Swedish ship for an abort. That's a 7. And he doesn't save, so he is aborted. And the final one, we'll pick this again to be aborted. He's going to save. He does, but 2 half aborts is an abort. So away he goes. And that does it. Now, for the Commonwealth, we have 3 sunk, 2 damaged, and 2 aborted. The American task force is mostly, there's 2, 3 battleships. Let's go for a sunk on the Nelson. So we got to roll better than a 2 to keep from getting sunk. And we do roll, no, we roll at 2 exactly, and that means the Nelson goes down. They had some bad rolls for the Commonwealth. Now we got another sunk. The Commonwealth picks one. I know I got some really garbage ships in here. Where are they? There is one right there. All right, we'll pick this. This is a Cumberland. He's a 6 for getting sunk. And he doesn't. He's just damaged. Now the Germans get to pick one, their last one. They're going to pick the Royal Oak for a sunk. So I got to roll better than a 4 not to have him sunk. And I do. He's damaged. He goes to the damage pile. And now we got 2 damages. The Commonwealth picks one first. They're going to damage... Wow. All right, we're going to damage this guy. Birmingham. That's a 6. And he's damaged. So he's damaged. The Germans are going to pick for their last damage. They're going to try to damage the Royal Oak again because 2 damages will be a sunk. He has to roll better than a 5. He does, so he's aborted and damaged, so he'll go to the damage pool. And the last abort, whatever. We'll try the Exeter. No, we'll take one of the damaged guys. This guy right here for an abort. Yes, he's aborted. So he's going to go away too. Actually, you know what? I'll just leave them flipped over in their task forces. It's probably a better idea. That way things don't get mixed up. Alright, so that's the end of that round. Either side going to abort. Man, the German fleet is getting hammered. I don't know. I got to think about this. Well, I think we'll try one more round. Let's see what happens. Alright. 3 and an 8. A 6. 3 and a 6. Alright, let me figure this out, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so Germany is going to go with an air. They have a total of 4 surprise points. So the anti-aircraft come out to be, we're engaging just the 3 column. The anti-aircraft come out to be 57 points and 30 plus ships, the American and Commonwealth fleets combined. So that's going to be the lowest 3 of 5 dice. We'll use 2 surprise points to move it down. That gives me the moving it down 1. So we'll roll 3 dice. See what we get. Lowest 3 of 5. Okay, so that's 3 dice. So I got 4, 4, 3. Got to remember that. I roll 2 more dice. 4, 4, 3, and a 3 and a 7. So that's going to be 3, 3, 3. That's a total of 9 points. 9 points. Let's see. What's that going to do? 9 points of AA. 9 points. A anti-aircraft. Destroy 1 CVP for 5 points, or abort 1 other bomber. Now, let's see. I think we're going to destroy a CVP. Oh, I'm going to abort this bomber, because he's only a 1. And that leaves me 4 points. That's going to take out 4 air to sea points, which is going to leave the Germans with 19 air to sea points and 2 surprise points. Air to sea, 19 points. We'll move it up to the 21, 24. That's going to be 4 sunk and 2 damaged. 4 sunk, 2 damaged. Now, I can't hide their carriers. So we're going to start with the carriers. Let's go after the Ark Royal first. That's this guy right here. That is a 5. So you got to roll better than a 5, not for him to be sunk. Roll a 3, he goes down. And now the Commonwealth Americans can pick one. We're going to pick this. Caraco. That is an 8. He has to roll better than an 8. He doesn't. He's sunk. And then the Germans can pick one. They're going to pick the Wasp. That's an 8. Got to roll better than an 8 for him not to get sunk. And he's sunk. And the last one, for a sunk, yeah, I guess the British will have to take it again. Yeah, we'll go with that guy. He's a 6. Yeah, I need better than a 6 for him to avoid being sunk, and nope, he goes down. And then we got 2 damaged and 2 aborted. Should have wrote this down. 2 damage. We got 2 damage. 4 sunk and 2 damaged. 4 sunk and 2 damage. So now we got 2 damage. The Germans can pick one for damage. I think they're going to pick this lovely Essex class carrier. The aptly named Lexington II for a damage. Got to roll better than a 5. You do. It's aborted. It's aborted. And the last damage, we're going to pick the Augusta for damage. And it is damaged. So, that's the end of that. There's no counterstrike because the Allies don't have any aircraft available. So now, do either side abort? Got to think about this, because if the Germans get another round with air, it could be really bad. Yeah, I think the Allies are going to take their ball and go home, so they're going to abort. The damaged ships are going to go to the damage pool. There are 3 of them total, 2 American and 1 Commonwealth. And the rest of the ships are going to go home. They're going to go back to their port. He's going to go back to his port. And that's going to be that. You're going to leave the Germans in charge of the Bay of Biscay, but that's okay. Don't really have anything to do there this turn. So the Germans have one last thing to do. This is getting to be a rather long turn. And we're going to try to do a sub-action in the Ferrous Gap. A 5 and a 9. Nope, nobody found anybody. So 1 sub will be turned over. And that is going to conclude it for the Fascist Impulse. So now we're going to roll weather. This could be interesting. Let's take a look at the weather chart. There we go. Yeah, well, down to 10 will have to be good enough. All right. Well, the communists roll the weather. So what we get? We got a whopping 10. And 10 on the weather chart is nasty. It's going to be blizzard, snow, rain, storm, rain. +2 to next weather roll. Impulse marker moves up 3. So I'm going to mark all that down, and I'll come back with the Communist Impulse. Okay, I've finished up the Communist Impulse. We have a few attacks to do. A few counterattacks. There will be no aircraft because it's in a blizzard zone. And with the blizzard adjusted, winterized adjusted odds, we have a 4-to-1 here and a 4-to-1 here. So we'll do the northern 4-to-1 first. That's going to be on the, do I have any armor? I didn't even check. Nope. That's going to be on the assault table, 4-to-1. Could be bad. That's a 10. That's not bad. That's star 2S. So that Finnish unit is now dead. Finnish motorized. Toast to toast. I think we'll occupy the hex. Like that. And over here on the Blitzkrieg table, because I have armor and mechanized against just mechanized, that's going to be a 4-to-1 +1 on the Blitzkrieg table. And that is a 7. Oh gosh, just counters everywhere. I don't even know where that goes. I put it there. That's a 7, 4 to 1, plus 1, 7. That is a star. Oh, actually, it's an 8. That's a star 1B. So the German mechanized unit is destroyed. And we broke through. I think we'll probably occupy the hex. Something like that. That looks good to me because now these pocketed Russian units are no longer pocketed. Alright, and that's it for the communists. I'm going to do the democracies, and I'll come right back with them in just a second. I got so busy with that naval battle, I almost forgot about the Japanese. They actually have an attack in on the previous turn. Got all about the Pacific Theater until just now. So first up, we have a ground strike of 1s. So there's 2 1s. The red will be the top unit. And as usual, nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and now we have a 2 to 1 plus 1 against this unit right here. And that is on the Blitzkrieg table. Because I got armor. The Japanese have armor. Mechanized division. 2 to 1, plus 1, plus 2. Plus 2 on the Blitzkrieg table. 2 to 1. See what they can do. Blah, they choked. 1-1. They choked. They choked. They choked big time. Rolled a 2. Yeah, I probably should have just forgot this. That probably would have been better for them. Let's see. What can we lose? We have to lose 1 unit. Oh, militia. Yeah, we can lose the militia. All the Japanese units will be flipped over. And the communists got to lose, guess, the cavalry. Yep. The cavalry unit dies for the commies. Well, these guys get flipped over. Flip, flop, flipped. It's like I said, I think I might have said in a previous video that once the Japanese get backed up into the mountains with the Chinese defending in the mountains, it just becomes impossible. There's all kinds of rivers. It becomes nearly impossible for them to really do anything. I mean, maybe they get an attack here, attack there, but that's about it. I mean, they really can't do much. All right, let's get back to the democracies. Let's take a look at what they did. They shuffled some units around down here. Got to try and do something down there. Didn't really do too much else. I don't really have much else to do. The Americans are kind of holding pat until they can get some more forces down here in the South Pacific. We do have a Commonwealth Infantry Corps down here, but we don't have any transport, so we got to get a transport over there. The Commonwealth does have 1 attack right here on this partisan. It's an 8 to 1 on the assault table. Where's my die? Yeah, 8 to 1 on the assault table is a 7 to 1. I rolled a 5. 5 is star 2S, so that partisan, he is gone. Actually, it's that is the North Monsoon. I got to take into account weather. That's rain, so that would have been a 5 to 1. 5 to 1, 5. It's still cross 2S, so one of the Commonwealth units is flipped over. We'll flip that one over. Doesn't matter. All right, there we go. That's the end of that partisan. Get the resource back. Now that's going to be it for the democracies. We're going to move the impulse marker up 3 spaces. And we're going to pick up with the fascist impulse. Okay, for the fascist impulse, so we can't do much in China. We did kind of move up onto the Indian border and sent reinforcements over there. The Japanese are kind of making some kind of build up down here in the South Pacific. They got a fleet down here as well as some land units. It could be a big brawl coming up for the South Pacific soon. Down here in the Middle East, we're not going to do much because the weather and the rivers are just going to prevent us from getting any kind of decent attack. So we're just going to sit there and stare at them for this turn. The Italians shuffled a few units that wouldn't get flipped over down here in North Africa. And Vichy moved up a unit. I think the days of Vichy are numbered at this point. We only have one thing to do for potential combat, is roll to see if we find the convoys in the Pharaoh's Gap. And that's going to be it for us. And we certainly did find the convoys in the Pharaoh's Gap. Okay, I'll figure that out, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, the Germans ended up with 6 surprise points, 4 of which they had to spend for sub-action because the Commonwealth has an air unit there. So we end up with a total of 2 sunk on the convoys and 1 damage, and we have 1 sunk sub. So we'll let the British go first. They're going to try and sink any of these 3-pointers. Let's get rid of that guy. He's an 8. Let's see if he gets sunk. He does. Down he goes. There's a big pile of ships in here this turn. And now, 2 sunks. So we're going to take out 3 convoy points for starters. And then the Commonwealth gets to pick something. You know, I think they're going to pick 3 convoy points too. Just because the ships are becoming scarcer. So, and the Germans get 1 damage. They're going to go with another 3 convoy points. Put that in the damage pile. And that is it for that round. We're going to roll for another round. And there won't be. There won't be another round. So that's going to end the fascist impulse. We are now rolling to end the turn. It is a 2. See if the turn ends. A 6 does not end the turn. The next end turn will be a 3. We're going to roll weather. There's a +3 to the weather roll. Or +2, I'm sorry, +2 to the weather roll. Let's see what we get. 4 becomes a 6. That's not as great. Okay, so we got snow in the north. And storm, rain, fair, rain. Storm, rain, fair. All right. Snow, storm, rain. Fair, rain, fair. Okay. And there is a +1 to next turn's weather roll. And the impulse marker will now move up 2. And we are on the communist impulse. So I will be back in a second with anything that they're going to do. There's rain or the storm in North Temperate, so I don't imagine much is going to move in the North Temperate. I'll be back in a second. Okay, the Russians have just 1 7-to-1 attack on the Blitzkrieg table, and that is gone. That is gone. And we will occupy the hex. And that is that. Actually, you know what? I don't want to occupy with that. Let's occupy with these guys. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'll occupy with that too. Yeah, that's good. That's good. We're okay with that. Actually, low on units as the Soviets too. I'm kind of pushing the unit mix down here. And, yeah. He's dead. Alright. Okay, so I think that's going to wrap it up for the Soviet impulse. We're going to roll to see if we end the turn. We are looking for a 3. 3 or less. A 6 is not doing it. We're going to move on to the democracies. Back in a second. Okay, I just finished up the Allied impulse. You know, we're surrounded in Suez, that's for sure. Not too much going on over here in the Pacific right now. We're kind of concentrating on Europe, trying to get Europe done, more or less. And that's what we've been doing. And I think that's about it. Can't move through the Bay of Biscay because, well, the Germans control it, which is a bummer. And that's about it. So we're going to just roll to see if we end the turn. We're now at a 4. Now at a 4, right? Yep, now at a 4 to see if we end the turn. And the democracies roll a 1. The turn is over. So it did make it down to impulse number 18. So not as short a turn as you would think, even though the impulse marker was moving up multiple impulses. But yeah, the weather's going to get worse now. There's a +1 to the weather roll for next turn. Best we're going to get is rain in the Arctic, rain in the North Temperate, which is kind of bad. Especially if I roll something like a 10. Forget it. Blizzards and forget it. That's a forget it. That's a forget it at that point. Alright, so we got to roll for partisans. Let's see what we're going to get for partisans. Let's roll the die. That's a 6. Greece, no. UK, Finland, Iraq, no. Afghanistan, Central, South America, Japan, Malaya. Malaya is a 2 with a 1 unit garrison, so that means I have to roll a 1. I did not. So no partisans for this turn. Next turn, I believe we will be rolling the partisan die twice. Roll 2 dice. Yeah, from January, February 43 on, we're going to be rolling 2 dice. For partisans. So I'm going to do the production, and I'll come back and I'll show you that, and that's going to basically be the end of this turn. So I'll do production, and I will be back in a second. Okay, let's go over production. Production looks something like this. Germany produced 51, started with 47, and spent 46. The Japanese produced 27, started with 27, spent 28. The Italians produced 14, started with 14, spent 15. The Soviets produced 35, started with 32, spent 36. They got 5 Lend-Lease. The Commonwealth produced 23, started with 24, spent 26. The United States produced 55. They produced 60. They sent out a total of 7 in Lend-Lease, 5 to the Soviets and 2 to the Free French. And that's a 53. They started with 50 and they spent 55. The Chinese produced 3, got 1 from a cadre, so that's 4. Started with 3 and spent 2. The Free French produced 3, 2 of which were Lend-Lease. Started with -8, spent nothing, and nothing for Vichy France. And that's going to wrap up production as well as this turn. I'd like to thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And the next turn I do will be the January-February 1943 turn. So we will see how things develop in the East, at least. I would say this turn had a big battle in the Atlantic, and the Germans ended up getting the worst of that overall. So the game is definitely not decided one way or the other, that's for sure. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I will definitely see you next time.